Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. I'm sorry that I haven't posted much lately, but I had some health issues, but I'm better now. And with this occasion, I prepared for you a long video. Today, I'll be presenting you my new additions to my Lego collection. I have spent the month of January building up 3 Lego armies, which are still under development, but I wanted to show you what I came up with. So today we're going to take a look at my Viking army, my Wolfpack army, and my Black Falcon army. Let's get to them. The first army is the Viking army. Now the Viking army is smaller than I expected because I had to deal with lack of parts and I couldn't find the best parts on Bricklink. So I had to improvise. But I tried to make a very good selection of them, and one thing in particular that I implied is that I removed their horns. For me personally, the horns on the Viking minifigures look absolutely awful because they make the minifigures look very disproportionate, so I use the helmets without the horns. Now the first minifigures are the leading roles of the Viking army. The one in the middle is the chieftain, which is a modified version of the chieftain from the Viking village set. I added a beard and a historically accurate Viking helmet to him. I like the way that the historically accurate Viking helmet looks on the minifigures. That's why it's one of my favorite pieces and I plan to order more of them. But for now, I think it suits better to the chieftain to have this type of helmet. The other important minifigure is the shaman. Now the shaman has a leading role in the religious part of the Viking army. He prays to the gods in the favor of the Viking army. I use the hobbit torso, a cape, and the hobbit hairpiece, and I built him a staff from a torch with a pink flame that makes him look very mystique and have this aura of wizardry to him. I think the shaman fits the vibe of the Vikings and I like the way it looks. Now the third character is the steward that administrates the settlement when the chieftain goes out in war. He also takes care of economics and diplomacy while the chieftain leads his army, and for him I used another hobbit torso and used a black hairpiece with a mustache to build him. This minifigure was built on the last minute while filming and I didn't think he would make the cut. I don't know why, but I liked him and the way he looked. So I put him in the video. Let me know in the comments what do you guys think. Now this is the detachment of archers. I have 3 at the moment and I plan to expand them. One is from the Viking village set, but I removed his horns and the rest are custom made with hobbit torsos and hair pieces that look specific to the Nordic people. And of course I gave them bows and quivers. In the future I plan to expand them of course and make them more armored, but now this is what I came up with. Now the larger group is the infantry group, which is very diverse in weaponry, but I tend to make them more organized while I have more Viking minifigures. I plan to make a detachment specifically of berserkers, the one with the two-handed axes. I plan to make a detachment of spearmen and some lighter infantry, but for now, this is the infantry corps. I used a mashup of pieces from the Hobbit series and the D&D CMF line and added helmets without the horns because I like them to be historically accurate, and as I said before, the horns give them a disproportionate look. So in my opinion they look better without the horns. And of course I gave them specific shields with much more diversity to their color schemes because I think they mash up very well. And I gave them shoulder guards because they look absolutely amazing with shoulder guards. And I even used the nomadic barbarian from the 25th CMF series, and I gave it a cape and I incorporated into their army. And we can't forget about the blacksmith, which I haven't modified, but I like the way it looks, so of course I had to incorporate it in them because who else will make their weapons? Overall, the Viking army has enough room for improvement, but for now they look amazing. The next army is the Wolfpack. As you guys may know, the 27th CMF series launched the Wolfpack Beastmaster, which was highly seeked by the Lego Castle community. I was lucky to buy them from the aftermarket, so I decided to make an army of them. For many fans, the Wolfpack army would represent just a band of pesky brigands, but for me, these are more than just your ordinary bandits. For me, they represent a much more disciplined faction of brigands. with a very high set of skills that make them feared throughout the land. The leading figures of the Wolfpack is the Wolfpack headmaster and his son. I used Viking helmets to them because they fit the vibe of the Wolfpack. And for the headmaster, I used some pearl dark grey shoulder guards to make him look even more armored. So these are the commanders of the Wolfpack army. Up next is a contingent of archers and crossbowmen. I haven't made the distinction yet between the crossbowmen and the archers. I personally think that if the Wolfpack operates in a place such as a city or a town, they use crossbows to make them more confined. While operating in a forest, they may use bows, not only for killing and ambushes, but also for hunting. I used the pieces from the CMF and I just added some crossbows and some bows to them. If I'll get more of these, I'll probably increase their number and make crossbowmen and bowmen separately, but for now I added them in just one unit. The next units are the heavier units of the army. They have more armor at their disposal. Two of them use halberds and one of them uses a great sword, and they also represent the personal guards of the Wolfpack leaders. Now an interesting part is the Wolfpack Beastmaster units. I figured that if we have this wolf mold and they activate in the forest area, these kind of faction would use some of the wildlife to their advantage. And as we know, humans around history teamed up with animals to hunt and kill in war. And with the Wolfpack being the type of faction to use this kind of advantage to them, I built two Beastmaster units. Nothing too special, just the wolf with a chain attached to the Beastmasters and a dagger from the Geet Warlock from the D&D CMF series. The next units are the infantry units. I try to make them more balanced and make a light infantry group and some spearmen to add some organization and hierarchization to this faction and make it even more realistic. Up first we have the light infantry group. They use smaller weapons with shields, such as gladiuses with short axes, and they have shoulder guards, and some of them have Viking helms. Being less armored is exactly the description of a light infantry group. Next are the spearmen and the long axe units. I gave them black nasal helms because they fit the color scheme, and I gave them these type of weapons that can be used outside of combat, such as woodcutting or hunting, because the Wolfpack tries to live off the land without getting detected by the bigger factions such as the Black Falcons or the Lion Knights. And yeah, these are the infantry units. And I got some Wolfpack minifigures from the classical era of Lego Castle, and I honestly don't know what should I do with them. I thought of incorporating them into the army, but I don't know how, so tell me in the comments what should I do. I like how this Wolfpack army turned out. I would definitely want to increase their numbers, and what I like about them is the uniqueness, because they don't have that heraldry, lordly, classical kingdom vibe. They have that brigand and brute feel to them that just make them a unique and very fun faction, and I can't wait to make lore for them. Next, we have the Black Falcons. Now, the Black Falcons are my favorite faction, but unfortunately, I couldn't expand them because I haven't found the necessary pieces. And without Pick-a-Brick, it is a pain to find Black Falcon torso and legs. But I tried to expand them how I could, so this is what I came up with. The first three characters are the king, the general, and the king's personal guard. For the king, I added a cape and this cool hairpiece with this face print that fits very well with the hairpiece. And the other two minifigures are the figures from the medieval blacksmith. Nothing changed, nothing special, just the two minifigures that you may know from the medieval blacksmith. Now we have an archer regiment, which isn't something special. I just added quivers and black nasal helms to them. And of course, I can't forget about the 24th series CMF Black Falconer, which is a very unique figure in the Black Falcon army. And the infantry too is not something out of the ordinary. I just gave black nasal helms to the spearmen and black great helms for the knights. In the future I would like to add more specialized regiments like cavalry, pikemen, crossbowmen, but only time can tell. But if you ask me why some figures have metallic pieces, while others have black. It is a form of distinction between the soldiers. I personally want to expand this army and branch it off based off the color of the helmets. The levies and the ordinary soldiers use black helmets because they are in poorer quality with cracks that are covered by black paint, and the more elite units like the men-at-arms such as pikemen, crossbowmen, cavalry will have those metallic gray pieces. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. In the future I plan to make lore for all of my LEGO factions and wind them up together to create the perfect medieval LEGO castle world. And if you enjoyed this video, click on the like button. Share this video with your friends or other LEGO Castle enthusiasts. Hit the subscribe button with the notification bell on to notify you when I post. And until next time, I wish you all a good day, a good morning, and a good night. See you soon, guys.